Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with medical doctor and self-taught artist Vasu Tolia. She embarked on her artistic journey after retiring from the medical field. Her work serves as a bridge between her diverse life experiences and her passion for visual arts. Through her art, she seeks to capture the essence of humanity, nature, and the ever-evolving world around us. One of Vasu's core interests is the portrayal of human figures, particularly women, in both representational and abstract forms. She aspires to translate intangible thoughts and emotions into visual narratives that invite viewers to interpret and connect with their unique perspectives. She is also a poet and is always ready to grow. Enjoy this story.
Thank you for taking a minute out for the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I'd love to begin my journey into getting into your world as a self-taught artist by asking you, I know we're all getting tired of the whole COVID thing, but it really did a lot. I mean, it changed our world. It changed us all individually. How did you make it through that time period, and how did it change you?
COVID time was the time when I really started making abstract art. Before that, I was making more representational art, like copies from photographs and portraits and things like that. But during COVID time, I just felt that I had to try abstract art. One of the reasons for that was also that when I was entering shows and exhibitions, I felt that way then. But I guess it's juror dependent that more of the prizes and everything went to more abstract art, and I knew nothing about it. So I felt that I should take a stab at it. And I started to experiment with it. And I have loved that liberation so much that I mainly just do abstract and semi-abstract art now.
So let's get to the heart and soul of everything that you do right now here in 2024. If I was to put you in front of a bunch of third grade students at Career Day and one of the kids was curious and said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I would tell him or her that art is my passion, and I really practice it not to make a living, but to help others, to be honest with you. Because through the sales of my art, I try to heal people, because me having been in medicine, the healing is a continuing part of my purpose, for being. So it's really a way for me to express myself. It's a lot more than just creative expression of myself. It is a way of answering to current events and my passions, like women's empowerment, protecting the planet, helping children with like neurodivergent populations like autism and things like that, and medical research. So it's really more than a living to me. Yeah, making a living to me, it's a purpose of my life now.
So when you were in the third grade, when you were young, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Honestly, I didn't know. I had no dreams of becoming a doctor, to be honest with you, because there has been no physician in my family before I became a doctor. There was never ever a physician. So I had no idea, but most of the times what happened with women in those days was that they would finish in a decent education and they would get married and raise a family. But when I was in 9th grade, I had to make a choice between science, arts, and commerce, because that's how our school was set up and the way the school system was where I lived. And I was going to choose arts, but one of my best friends, her brother was studying medicine. So she told me that let's take biology, in science, because I was not too fond of math, especially trigonometry and things like that. So I took science, and here I am. I became a doctor.
So talk to me a little bit about your path. Where are you coming out of right now?
Right now, I'm fully committed to being a visual artist. It was a difficult transition because from a purposeful, structured, scientific field like medicine to changing gears and becoming an abstract, fluid word of art requires a complete overhaul of mindset. I had to let go of the need for certainty and embrace the unknown. Because when I start a painting now, I have no idea what it's going to turn out to be. Although I do have a purpose when I start it, because I usually work in teams. So if I'm working on a theme of nature for my next solo exhibition, then I will think of scenes and all, but I will abstract them totally so that they convey that sense of calm when you view nature, but it will not exactly replicate anything that was in that particular scene. But these challenges have allowed me to have incredible growth in a new field, and I trust my creative instincts and find comfort in the uncertainty as to what the final outcome is going to be. So this liberation and embracing the unknown has been very fulfilling.
So where are you at as far as geography on the planet right now?
I'm in Michigan.
Okay, you're in Michigan. So take me back to your childhood, and what were some of the things that were the seeds that were planted into you to eventually become an artist, and even to be in medicine? What were these things that were foundational for you?
I grew up in a family with 3 brothers, and my parents, I did learn some Indian dancing, which is also a form of art, for like 5 to 6 years and all. And I was supposed to study music also, I and my oldest brother, but he used to run away to play cricket and would not attend the lessons. So I rebelled and I told my mother I was not going to do it also. In hindsight, I wish she had forced me and said that, no, you learn, whether your brother does it or not, you will like it. But she let me do what I wanted, so I gave up music also. When I was in school, my exposure to arts was in the form of a home science class where they taught you embroidery and knitting and all. To be honest with you, the first time I drew something was when I made a triangle in geometry lesson. I had no exposure to drawing and no aspiration to be an artist at that point in my life. And once I was in medical school, I mean, you know the story about how I ended up being there. In the state that I lived in, which is West Bengal in Calcutta, there was a lot of communist movement, Naxalite movement. So our education was disrupted in the sense that what should have taken me 5 years to finish the medical school took me 7.5 because the exams would get postponed and they would come and take away the papers and things like that. So there was a period when I started to learn music again. So I did some sitar lessons but never persisted. And I may have done a little bit of drawing there then at that time too, but nothing really to talk about as a foundation for what I'm doing today. And eventually, when I did graduate as a medical doctor and came here, the life was too hectic to think about anything else to do besides just focus on the medical career. And because I'm not just a physician, I was an academician, so I was a lot into research and mentoring and teaching and all. So all those things kept me very busy. So I really didn't have time to think about all these things.
So you're obviously highly driven in your life. Who has been kind of an inspiration for the work that you've done? Who's been a hero?
In a way, I had to nurture myself because I did not have a mentor when I was in residency and fellowship and all. Even when I was a junior academician, I had no mentor, and I went to national meeting and saw that so many junior people were presenting papers and I had nothing. So when I came back, I told my husband that I want to do all that and I'm going to nurture myself and find ways of doing it. So the same way in art also, when I have made this career change, it has totally been my decision, although even at the time of career change, to go from such a purposeful life into a void was not acceptable to me. So I did dabble in music again, but it just didn't work out, and then I started taking art lessons. And soon I discovered that the way I was healing when I was a doctor, I found those properties and felt that, I could promote healing this way also. And I must say that for art, in retrospect, my hero is my mother, because in her later years in life, when she used to come and spend time with us, we used to be busy once the kids grew up and they were in school and college and all. She would sit and draw for hours, and she used colored pencils. She didn't use paints or anything. And when I look at all those drawings today, they are like mini studies of big works, that could be put on canvas or whatever you wanted to do with them. So I recognize that now, at that point, it did not strike as being something that was going to be that fulfilling. But I can see now that that was her therapy, of being alone and becoming mindful by doing that.
So who are some of your favorite visual artists?
I like Mark Rothko with the color fields, because color is my big thing. I love to paint with vibrant colors, and I have been called a colorist also. But amongst contemporary artists, I like Kusama, because I like dots. I like dots very much. And I'm inspired that even now at the age of, in her 90s, she continues to produce these installations and, things with dots and all. And I have a mind to start using more dots, although there are dots in my art, but somehow geometry creeps in my art, like triangles and squares and circles and all. Because I can see in my mother's drawing, she used geometric tools to make things and all these shapes. Although she loved nature also, she used leaves and botany quite a bit. But I can't think of any other specific artist, but I'm inspired to emulate, different parts of different artists' techniques. So I did make a series of artwork. Are you familiar with Indian demigod Ganesha?
Yes.
Okay, the elephant-headed demigod. He is a revered icon in Indian culture. So what I did is I made paintings of him using some of the European impressionists and abstractionists. So I created him thinking how Picasso would have made it, Rasco would have made it, or Clifford Still. So I made a series of paintings, using those kinds of techniques. So I like to experiment and try out different things. I don't stay in a single style. I feel I'm continuously evolving, and that's how I want to be. I don't want to be just in a static way that this is how I will do it and that's the only way.
So what's your motivation every day to wake up to do this work, to create these works of art, and to help inspire people, and to also evolve yourself as a human? What is that for you?
I feel that I'm expressing and getting my message out in the world when I paint. And it's also my meditation, Joe. When I'm there, I'm in a zone, like I get in a flow state, and it makes me feel very happy, and all I can think about where I'm going to this, and I work on 5 or 6 paintings at a time. So it's not like I'm just working on one thing and that's all I'm focusing on. Because while one is drying, I might be doing something else to another. So I'm in a constant flow, and I hope that, and I donate some of these paintings to charities, and I'm connected with them and all that. So it gives me a great fulfillment and a purpose to, reinforce this purpose of my life to continue as a healer.
So what's the best advice that you've ever gotten, whether it's in painting or in general? What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
The best advice I have gotten is that I should just continue to do what makes me happy. And when I was an academician, I was very happy doing what I was doing. It was extremely challenging, but that was me. And, that was my way of life, and I liked it. So in this way, when I'm trying and experimenting with different products and different substrates and like painting paper, canvas, aluminum, things like that, and using different kinds of paints and methods, I feel that that purpose reinforced to create things, that would bring joy to somebody, whether it is in a home or whether it is in corporate places or hospitals or lounges, where people need some calm, from the hustle and bustle. I feel that if I get into those places more, I'll be serving a purpose in my life.
So of everything that you've done between medicine and art and all of the things that you've evolved into in your life, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
I'm proudest of having been a good mom, a good wife, a good doctor. I'm proud of everything I have been, to be honest with you. But the proudest thing is, that I have two beautiful sons, and they are good human beings, and that's my biggest achievement in life, to be honest with you. But if you want to talk about career-wise and all that, having been a tenured professor was obviously a very proud moment for me. When my COVID painting was selected amongst top 20 in the nation by Washington Post and then solicited by CDC for the cover of that magazine, I felt my art and medicine came together. Honestly, that was also a very proud moment. But I take pride in every little achievement I get, like whether it's an honorable mention or the best of show or even nothing, having just created an artwork or doing something gives me a lot of joy. And I'm very proud of that. Now, apart from painting, I also write. And I write poetry when I'm traveling. And because I'm not an outdoor painter, so I don't carry supplies and all that with me, but I like to write when I'm traveling. So that's another passion, I like about experiences, current events, and things like that in poems.
So everyone out there that knows you has a perception of you, family, friends, all of your fans, your writing and your art, but ultimately you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I feel I'm a person with a mission in life, and that major mission is healing and give happiness to the world and be a proactive person as far as some of the issues that mean a lot to me, which is like gender equality and women's empowerment, helping the environment thrive so our future generations can live nicely on the same planet the way we have done, and helping all these other people, get some happiness by looking at things I create.
Speaking of the things you create, if anyone wants to get paintings, copies, your writing, any of the good stuff that you're doing, where's the best place to go?
They should go to my website at www.vasutolia.art, and they can contact me by email there, and they can join my email list, and thereby, I can give them an update on what new things I'm creating and what's happening with new paintings and which shows and things like that. They would get an update once a month, about those kinds of things. So if they contact me and want to ask any questions, because not everything I make is on the website. I put them in rotation. I can't put 100 paintings there. People will get confused about what they want to get. But if they like a particular type of artwork and want to know more about it, I more than welcome them to contact me and ask me more questions.
Wonderful. This has been wonderful. I thank you so much for your story, for your passion, for your time, and best of luck with all the creations as they come forward.
Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it, and thank you for letting me be on your show. It's been an honor for me.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. Our esteemed theme music was composed and produced by the great E.E. Pointer of Kansas City's River Cow Orchestra. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.